Welcome to this video. Today we're going to talk about the hilarious conflict between a mother and her son. Are you ready to laugh? No matter how she acts in front of her son, Mum can argue fiercely with them. In front of outsiders, she's always super mom. Luckily, everything has turned out well. The son finally became a writer, and his father is only described with 3 words: total loser. The son believes that his mother's choices are completely unreasonable and absurd, and he even thinks that all women are like aliens. Some marry jewelers for money, while others are ready to support gamblers for a few sweet talk. The truth is, whether it's any girl or his mother, it's all a well thought out decision, truly wise. Only the son, clearly an adult, still thinks the world is black and white. Talk about being self-righteous. He shows disdain for everyone in the small town, and when Dad arrives home at night, Mum gives him quite a lesson. Dad was having a blast in the studio this time, and for the first time, he actually got mad at his son. He threw what he wrote in class at his son, and it turned out to be a Hamid dog missing poster. Turns out ever since the dog went missing, Dad's been sleepless because he realized the dog was the only one who didn't judge him. The son felt no guilt. He thought Dad was childish. Yet Dad managed to support the whole family while he couldn't even land a government job. He chose to join the army, and years later, returned to the town he despised. By then, Dad had debts from gambling, slowly paying them off with his pension, and bought a fridge, a herd, and even his sister's laptop. He returned to the countryside to raise some sheep and live the pastoral life, while the books his son printed were just gathering mold in the corner. The books he once looked down upon were actually selling, while his own works became less popular. Maybe now he finally understood that writing is meant only what the audience loves is truly the best. On a foggy morning, the son went to find his dad in the countryside. When he opened the dilapidated little house, the warm light revealed it was empty. As he waited for Dad, he felt a wave of emotion. Suddenly, he spotted a wallet nearby, opened it, and found a newspaper about his book's release inside. The son felt a surge of emotion, realizing that Dad had quietly been keeping tabs on him all these years. But what did he do for his father? He quickly redeemed Dad's beloved dog and then had a nightmare. In the dream, a flower basket hung from a tree, filled with ants crawling over a baby. It was the story Grandpa told, where the baby was his father, and Grandpa said ants crawling in the brain caused his quirks. The son used to believe that, but now he realizes Dad was just using humor to cope with life's pains. On a beautiful farm, with a few animals and a hunting dog, Dad finally lived the life he had always dreamed about. Although they hadn't seen each other for years, there were no hugs or warm greetings. Dad said he was going to round up some hay, and it started to snow, turning the town into fairy tale land. After they gathered hay, the two sat under the eaves and naturally started chatting. All the past grievances melted away in the snow. Dad initially wanted to turn this place into a paradise, but in the end, it turned into a rundown farm. He never admitted his failures, burying his hopes until they finally collided with reality. But now he openly and naturally admitted it. While staring at the vast expanse of snow, the 4 sons seemed to blame their father for giving up during his youth. When asked about his future plans, the son replied he might become a teacher and live a simple life. However, his father unexpectedly began to recite sentences from the book written by the son. He had never anticipated that the father whom he had always looked down upon would become his sole reader. At this moment, he realized how wrong it was to secretly sell Dad's beloved dog. For Dad, that dog was perhaps the one who truly understood him, his loyal listener. Although the book had many criticisms of Dad, he wasn't angry, because he understood that critique and progress go hand in hand. Upon hearing his father's words, he ultimately felt a sense of relief, as his father went on to recount the series of experiences he had on the farm, from which he had gleaned a personal life philosophy. The son thinks the one who should write a book is actually Dad. He's like a rural philosopher. After a lifetime of ups and downs, Dad had summed up a set of free living experiences, rich in wisdom. When Dad woke up, the sun had disappeared. He filled the sheep's hay, and suddenly heard a noise from the well. A well connects the two generations, the bottom holding ethereal dreams, while the outside faces harsh realities. The burdens of life made Dad give up his dreams, teaching him how to surrender, while the son was out there fighting to finish his path. Maybe we all have a son like this around us, and if you can't find one, perhaps the son is you. When lost, we often think we can change the world, only to find reality is a solid wall. We become disappointed with life, struggling painfully between our dreams and harsh realities. Just like the son, we may feel anger towards our father's actions, overlooking the deep love behind it. Yet, these pains and struggles make us reflect, understand others, and slowly reconcile with life. Reconciliation isn't about acceptance, it's about quietly enduring, our hearts still filled with struggles and doubts. We often ask ourselves whether life should grow like a wild pear tree, lonely and twisted, or compromise with reality. Bearing sour fruits, or yielding to life, trimming away the wild branches.